Hi, my name is Wanja and I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Soul Chats with Wanja. In today's episode, I'd like to talk about cutting out the toxic elements in your life. These could be habits, these could be thoughts, could also be people. So why is it important to cut out the toxic elements of your life? What are toxic elements? Toxic elements are those things that take away from your purpose and your meaning. A lot of times we can look externally and look at the toxic elements coming at us from outside, but sometimes those toxic elements actually reside with us and within us. So I'll give you an example using myself. I used to smoke, and I was an on and off smoker. I knew that smoking was not good for my health. So, New Year's resolutions would come by, or I'd just sort of get to a point where I'd feel, I was breathing heavier, and I'd stop smoking for a while, and then something would happen. Maybe I'd have an unpleasant conversation or be going through a difficult time, and I'd invariably start smoking again. So what changed that for me? I basically gave up smoking when I found something that I just wasn't going to compromise on, something so important to me. And this was inside of my coaching journey, my journey of fulfillment, realizing that if I'm going to be speaking to people about living their best lives, if I'm going to be speaking to people about living an all-rounded best life, so taking health also into consideration, I couldn't then be the person who still smokes when dealing with a situation. And so I replaced that habit with something that meant far more to me than, the calm that a cigarette might superficially provide me with, or momentarily provide me with. It really got to a point where I was like, it has to go. I took it a little bit further. At this point, I was now thinking about my health. I took up swimming. And when I was in the pool, I found that, even one cigarette would set me back. If I was sort of doing 50 laps, I would find myself doing 30. It was pulling me back. And swimming is the sport that I chose to basically take care of my body, to strengthen my body, get me into a routine. I also find the pool to be a great space for meditation. So I'd also meditate in the pool. I just thought to myself, I can't afford to continue with this habit because it's interrupting different elements of my life. What leaves me feeling fulfilled, being in the water. I've got a quote on my vision board that says, "The water is my sky." I really do feel like the water is my sky. I wasn't going to give that up for smoking. So I replaced a bad habit, a toxic habit, which I cut out of my life. So the first place to start is with yourself. What are the toxic habits within your life that can be cut out so that you are living a life of fulfillment, that you have joy in what it is that you're doing? What are those habits that take away your joy, that make you feel guilty, that make you feel as though you're doing something that doesn't serve you? You know it, and yet perhaps, you're still doing it. What are you willing to replace that habit with? I also mentioned people. There are people in your life who, when you're excited about something, you're enthusiastic about something, you have a plan, a dream, you want to move forward, you want to create a shift in your life that is positive for you, they'll come into your life and talk negatively, loosely, dissuade you, convince you, give you every reason to doubt yourself. Or if you're sort of sharing your doubts, if you're saying, there's something that I want to do, they may come along and say, no, actually it is a terrible idea, don't do it. As opposed to being the type of person who encourages you. When you observe your relationships and notice that there are people who do that, it's important to have a boundary. And this is so that your dreams can flourish, so that they can come to life. We're all human beings. You know, people may even be doing this unconsciously, unaware that your ambitions, your goals, your inspirations for yourself might actually be making them feel a little bit uneasy, and so they discourage you. If you find yourself, and this is the thing to observe, this is where you sort of look around you and look at the people that you share your most important dreams with, you know, things that are really important to you. How do they respond? And the people that encourage you and believe in you and believe in your dreams, those are the people that you want to hold close. And the people who just can't see you any other way and would like you to remain the same, those are the people that you must, in your own way, have a boundary around. It might be that you don't tell them everything that you're doing, so that there's no space to, you know, dissuade you or bring grayness, you know, bring gray color into your plans. Whatever the case may be, you will know how to deal with that. And then the other thing is thoughts, your self-sabotaging thoughts. So typically when we're up to something, when we're sort of taking big strides, taking risks, there's that part of us that might be like, well, I don't know, am I good enough? Do I have everything that I need to make this move? Can I do it? You know, the voice that will, if you listen to it, if you let that be the dominant voice, will stop you before you even get started, or will pull you back to where you're coming from. There's the other voice, there's another voice, and that's the voice that originated the idea in the first place. You know, that's where this thought, your dream, your passion, your inspiration has come from. That is the voice to listen to. The voice that you have to cut out and think of as a toxic voice is the voice of discouragement, the one that's telling you you can't do, can't be, can't have, can't try. Cut that out, because it's a toxic element. So I would love to hear from you about moments where you've had toxic influences in your life and how you go about dealing with those. Or maybe you have those in your life right now. There's something that you're up to, that you're trying to get going, and what is it that's holding you back? Could it be a toxic habit? Could it be a toxic relationship? Could it be your own toxic thoughts, your self-generated thoughts? So please feel free to share with me, inbox, share your comments below, so that we can start a conversation and keep it going. And on that note, I'd like to thank you for joining me on this episode of Soul Chats with Wanja. As always, in all that you do, go out there and be bold. Bye for now.